Making the headlines tonight, Prime Minister Hun Sen postpones meeting with grade A student due to concerns over the rising spread of Omicron variant in Phnom Penh. Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhonn met with the ASEAN Secretary General and discussed key issues related to the comprehensive restoration of ASEAN and the operation of the ASEAN Regional Corridor Framework. President Volodymyr Zelensky states he will continue to pursue NATO membership despite Russia's opposition. Cambodia wins against Brunei 6-0 in the beginning of Group A matches for the AFF Under-23 Championships at Morodok Nakjo National Stadium. And archaeologists make an incredible discovery and find 14 pre-Inca mummies in Peru. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I am Dekanin. Prime Minister Hun Sen has postponed his meeting between him and students who received A grades in the recent high school baccalaureate exams for the 2021 academic year. He was previously scheduled to meet with students on 28 February, however, has now postponed due to concerns about the rising spread of COVID-19 Omicron variant in Cambodia, particularly in Phnom Penh. The Prime Minister wrote on his Facebook page saying that the new Omicron variant has been spreading in Phnom Penh. Thus, for the safety of all A-grade students and all parties involved, he has decided to postpone the meeting for a later date. He added that maintaining good health is the main task that everyone should now be focused on, especially since there is no shortage of other times to meet in the future. He asked for the forgiveness and understanding from students and families given the precarious situation. The Cambodian Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Prak Sokhonn held a virtual meeting with ASEAN Secretary General Dato Lim Chok Hoi on Monday. During the meeting, the two sides discussed key issues such as the comprehensive restoration of ASEAN and the operation of the ASEAN Regional Corridor Framework. EAC News reporter Robin Lim has more details.
During the video meeting between Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn and ASEAN Secretary General Dato Lim Chok Hoi, the two sides discussed accelerating the comprehensive restoration of ASEAN, the establishment of regional corridors, and the selection of host countries to establish the ASEAN Center for Public Health and Emerging Diseases, ACP-HEED, which would help to support ASEAN member states address the COVID-19 pandemic and prepare for future health crises. The two sides also discussed Timor-Leste's candidacy for ASEAN and the ongoing issue of Myanmar. A press release issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Monday night stated that Deputy Prime Minister Prak Sokhonn, in his capacity as Special Envoy of the ASEAN Chair, highlighted his priorities, including his first visit to Myanmar to the ASEAN Secretary General. In response, the press release states that Secretary General Lim Chok Hoi expressed the readiness of the ASEAN Secretariat to support Cambodian Foreign Minister in these endeavors, particularly the provision of humanitarian assistance to people who are in need of help. The two sides also reportedly discussed the important role of the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia, TAC, in the process of building the ASEAN community, and how in recent years many countries and organizations have been seeking to become dialogue or development partners with ASEAN. Both the Secretary General and the Cambodian Foreign Minister have declared commitment to continue to strengthening the capacity and capabilities of ASEAN to effectively contribute to the development of its partners for mutual benefit between all parties involved. Cambodia assumed the rotating chairmanship of ASEAN on 1st January 2022 after Brunei Darussalam, making it the third time that Cambodia has chaired ASEAN. The ASEAN Foreign Ministers Retreat will be held in Phnom Penh, Cambodia between 15 to 17 February. Foreign ministers from all ASEAN member states have confirmed their participation with the exception of Myanmar, who has not yet confirmed whether they will be sending a non-political participant. Robin Lim, EAC News.
During the meeting between the Cambodian Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn and ASEAN Secretary General Dato Lim Chok Hoi on Monday, the two sides decided to end the fact-finding mission of the ASEAN Economic Community and the ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community regarding Timor-Leste ASEAN's membership requirements in the first quarter of the year. This has paved the way for discussions on the time for Timor-Leste to formally join ASEAN. EAC News reporter Dashana Gochin has more details.
The completion of this fact-finding mission is expected to move forward discussions on a roadmap and timeline for Timor-Leste to join ASEAN. Since gaining independence from Indonesia in 2002, the Republic of Timor-Leste has repeatedly expressed its desire to join ASEAN. In 2011, the country filed an official application for ASEAN membership. However, this intention was not welcomed by most members. The Republic of Timor-Leste is currently an ASEAN observer, as the ASEAN Working Group is examining the country's political, economic, and cultural situation before deciding whether to allow its membership. Cambodia has been a strong supporter of Timor-Leste membership. In a meeting between the Foreign Minister of Timor-Leste, Adalgisa Magno, and Prime Minister Hun Sen on 20th January 2022, she asked the Prime Minister to further assist in the country's ASEAN membership after waiting for many years. In response, Prime Minister Hun Sen stated that Cambodia has always supported Timor-Leste's membership for ASEAN, and in the future, Cambodia will promote the ASEAN economic and cultural heritage of the country and strive to organize fact-finding missions as soon as possible in order to evaluate and prepare guidance and a clear timeline for the inclusion of Timor-Leste into ASEAN. Darshana Gauchan, EAC News.
Lieutenant General Hun Manait, the Deputy Commander of the Royal Cambodian Armed Forces, Commander of the Royal Cambodian Army, and appointed successor to Prime Minister Hun Sen, met with the Foreign Minister of Japan in Tokyo on Monday, where Japan affirmed its commitment to work with Cambodia to resolve the ongoing crisis in Myanmar. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the details.
In a meeting between Japanese Foreign Minister Hayashi Yoshimasa and Lieutenant General Hun Manait, during the later official Japan on Monday, Minister Hayashi Yoshimasa stated that Japan and Cambodia have a strong relationship and thus Japan welcomes close cooperation on the matter on Myanmar, as well as on other region Indo-Pacific affairs. The Foreign Minister further praises the visit of Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen and the current chair of the ASEAN for his positive efforts to resolve the situation and alternative the crisis in Myanmar, which has been considered as a civil war by UN experts. Lieutenant General Hun Manait is paying an official visit to Japan and the invitation of the Japanese government. The invitation was relayed to Prime Minister Hun Sen on the 28th of December 2021 through the Japanese ambassador to Cambodia, Mikami Masahiro. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
The first Deputy Chairman of Cambodian Mine Action and Victim Assistance Authority, Senior Minister Lee Tuch, has stated that he considers teachers the strong backbone and compass to show knowledge, wisdom, and curiosity, as well as the light that can illuminate one life's path in fighting friendship, discipline, and love. EAC News reporter Sreipo Kong has more.
While speaking at a meeting held at Bavat City based in Swating Province on Sunday morning with 363 teachers from 21 schools and the City Office of Education, Youth and Sports, Senior Minister Lee Tuch expressed his deep gratitude for the dedication and strength of all teachers who work hard to train and teach students without self-interest so that they can become a good people and citizens. He added that the dedication of teachers is unique, valuable, important, and influential in everyone's life. He said that teachers are motivators and people who can change our life, and the success of life and the success of the nation are due in a part to the participation of teachers, who he considers as the founders of hope and future for society. During the meeting, the senior minister also handed out thank you cards and 50,000 riel, roughly $12.5, for each of the 363 teachers in attendance. Sreipo Kong, EAC News.
The Ministry of Labor and Vocational Training has signed agreements with experts from the Asian Development Bank (ADB) and the French Agency for Development (AFD) on two major projects focused on technical and vocational education and training development (TVET-SDP) and skills for competitiveness (S4C) to raise the capacity in technical skills in Cambodia. EAC News reporter Robin Lim has the details.
In a meeting on Monday morning with the World Bank's Managing Director of Social Protection and Global Labor Performance in East Asia and the Pacific, Yasser Il-Gamal, the Minister of Labor and Vocational Training, Samhang, said that the ministry aims to improve the quality of education, technical and vocational training, and respond to the needs of the labor market. He also said 2 S4C and TVET projects focus on 3 major priority areas, including strengthening the equality and responsiveness of technical and vocational education and training at the bachelor's and master's degree level, promoting on-the-job training through industry partnerships, and expanding financial mechanisms for the ECCC and innovation. TVET stands for Technical and Vocational Education and Training, entails learning and acquiring practical skills, attitudes, and knowledge in practice-focused environment, which can help students adapt quickly while entering the workforce and equip them with critical skills needed by employers in the 21st century, allowing workers to get better jobs with higher paying salaries. Minister Samhang requested the World Bank to support TVET capacity building activities to meet the needs of the labor market, expand TVET enrollment, promote private sector participation in TVET, and improve governance and the TVET system. He further requested additional support for a number of key areas in the implementation of TVET policy, the master plan for the development of the TVET institution, and support for foreign languages, digital information technology, and soft skills, which are important teachings to be included in the curriculum in all levels of training. In response, the World Bank Director of Social Protection and Global Performance Management for East Asia and the Pacific accepted the Minister of Labor's request, and added that the World Bank is committed to working with the ministry to develop these projects by the end of 2022. Robin Lim, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported 184 new COVID-19 cases, including 9 which are imported. There have been 236 patient recoveries and once again, no new deaths. Cambodia records the 11th consecutive day of triple-digit Omicron cases as the community total passes 3,000. The kingdom recorded 175 new community and 9 new imported cases of the new variant today, meaning that Cambodia has now recorded 3,698 cases of Omicron, 647 imported, and 3,051 community cases. Cambodia's COVID-19 case tally has now climbed to 124,139. The death toll stands at 3,015. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 119,196, and the tally for imported cases has climbed to 20,504. Healthcare workers are now treating a total of 2,204 patients. Now for a look at news-making international headlines this Tuesday, 15 February.
At least 1 person has died and several injured when 2 commuter trains collided at a train station in the southern German town of Schafflafen near Munich on Monday the 14th of February. The accident happened in the late afternoon at a train station of Edehausen, Schafflan, southwest of the Bavarian capital. Munich police spokesman Andreas Franken has said that the trains had been travelling here on a single track that collided head-on with each other. According to what we know so far, we are dealing with 14 injured people. Unfortunately, we also have to report 1 dead person, but there are up to 80 passengers, he has added. Due to large rescue operation, a part of the railway track had to be completely closed temporarily.
A knife-wielding man at Paris train station is shot dead by police on Monday, February 14th. The man had attacked police officers on patrol at Gare du Nord station early on Monday morning. The incident was not thought to be terrorist-related. It is apparently someone who is known to police for wandering around the train station and would have assaulted them using a knife, which led law enforcement to use their weapon. Gare du Nord is one of Europe's biggest train stations and home to international train services connecting to Britain and Belgium. The incident had caused major traffic disruptions on Monday morning. Worries over violent crime and terrorism are among key concerns for French voters as people prepare to go to the polls for April's presidential election.
At least 7 people, including 2 children, have been killed in an explosion and subsequent fire that have occurred in apartment buildings in southern France on Monday. Officials said a search is ongoing for at least 2 people who are missing. Firefighters have said that the incident took place in Saint Laurent de la Salanque in the Pyrenees Orientals department. French Interior Minister Gérald Darmanin went to the site in the town of Saint Laurent de la Salanque and has said about 30 people were wounded or suffered psychological trauma in the explosion that occurred around 2 a.m. The explosion has occurred on the ground floor of a 2-story building, which was a grocery sandwich bar. The fire then spread to the neighboring buildings. Perpignan prosecutor Jean-David Cavalier has said it's too early to know what caused the explosion, but he mentioned the possibility that gas cylinders may have been present in the shop. An investigation is underway.
President Volodymyr Zelensky has affirmed on Monday, February 14th, Ukraine will continue to pursue NATO membership despite Russia's opposition and some Western countries' skepticism.
Заява президента України Володимира Зеленського.
Many journalists and many leaders hint a little, suggesting to Ukraine that it may be possible not to take risks, not to raise the issue of future membership in the alliance consistently because we risk reaction of the Russian Federation. Zelensky has told reporters at a joint news conference with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Following warnings issued by the United States that the threat of Russian invasion was imminent, some Ukraine's businesses and media outlets said they would relocate to the west of the country or set up temporary offices outside the country. Ukraine's president has said one cannot call himself a patriot and then relocate the office to Lviv or Warsaw or Czech Republic or United States because there was an instruction to do so. He has confirmed neither he nor his family had any plans to leave the country. My family is always with me, always with Ukraine. I am the president and my wife is the first lady and must be example on how families should behave, he has firmly said.
The 7 leading industrial nations of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States of America, and the High Representative of the European Union are united in their condemnation of Russia's military build-up and aggressive rhetoric towards Ukraine. On Monday, February 14, they have warned Russia of a swift and joint reaction if it chose to invade Ukraine, to whose economy they also promised rapid and decisive support.
Die 7 führenden Industrienationen haben heute unter der
The G7 finance ministers have published a joint statement under the German presidency. The 7 leading industrial nations make clear that they would swiftly and jointly react to a violation of Ukraine's sovereign borders. It is not often the case that the G7 makes statements on current diplomatic issues. This is now required. The G7 finance ministers have assured Ukraine that they will continue its economic development and that they will keep an eye on Ukraine's financial stability. Russia must know that a violation of international law or the borders of Ukraine will be met with a swift joint reaction. The finance ministers, too, are making their contribution towards de-escalating the situation, on the one side by strengthening Ukraine's position. They will ensure its financial stability. At the same time, they are letting the Kremlin know that they will defend borders together, also in the financial term of the word. There would be tough sanctions on Russia, also in the financial sector. Any use of force to change borders is strictly prohibited under international law. Russia should be in no doubt that further military aggression against Ukraine would have massive consequences and severe cost in response. The 7 finance ministers have reaffirmed their unwavering commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, as well as the right of any sovereign state to determine its own future. We commend Ukraine's posture of restraint. They have also said they will intensify their cooperation on their common and comprehensive response.
After nearly a week of being under the blockade, commercial and personal traffic is now flowing freely between Canada and Detroit Monday morning, February 14th.
North America's busiest trade link reopened for traffic late Sunday evening, ending a 6-day blockade, Canadian Border Service agencies have announced, after their Canadian police have cleared the protesters fighting to end COVID-19 restrictions. Police barricades closely guard the entrance to the bridge access roads, watching for anyone who may try to stop traffic again. Canadian police have made several arrests on Sunday and cleared protesters and vehicles that occupied the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor, Ontario, after a court order on Friday. The blockade had choked the supply chain for Detroit's car makers, forcing Ford Motor Company, the second largest U.S. automaker, General Motors Company, and Toyota Motor Corporation to cut production. The bridge carries about $360 million a day in two-way cargoes, 25% of the value of all U.S.-Canada goods trade. A Windsor police official has told reporters that 20 to 30 arrests have been made. Police also seized vehicles within the demonstration area. According to an earlier statement, police have stepped up their presence on Sunday with more than 50 vehicles, including cruisers, buses, and an armored car, as the number of protesters dropped to around 45 from roughly 100 on Saturday. Windsor police have added there will be zero tolerance for illegal activity.
After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
តើលោកអ្នកចិត្តរៀបអាពាហ៍ពិពាហ៍មែនទេហើយពិបាករកក្រុមហ៊ុនថតវីដេអូផ្សាយផ្ទាល់ដែលមានគុណភាពមែនទេអស់កង្វល់រ៉ាទីកាជាក្រុមហ៊ុនទទួលស្គាល់លំដាប់អន្តរជាតិលើសេវាកម្មថតផ្សាយផ្ទាល់គ្រប់កម្មវិធីកម្រិត 4K ដំបូងបង្អស់នៅកម្ពុជារ៉ាទីកាប្រើប្រាស់ឧបករណ៍ទំនើបម៉ាកល្បីធានាគុណភាពការផលិតតាមបច្ចេកវិទ្យាទាន់សម័យរ៉ាទីកានឹងជួយធ្វើឲ្យកម្មវិធីលោកអ្នកកាន់តែមានភាពអស្ចារ្យលោកអ្នកនឹងបានឃើញរាល់សកម្មភាពក្នុងពិធីទៅលើកញ្ចក់ទូរទស្សន៍ទំហំធំកម្រិត 4K និងការបញ្ចាំងលើផ្ទាំងក្រណាត់សព្រមទាំង LED ដែលមានរូបភាពច្បាស់ត្រជាក់ភ្នែកសូមអញ្ជើញកក់ពីឥឡូវនេះតាមរយៈលេខទូរស័ព្ទ012 823 848 017 838 889 និង016 823 848 រាធិកាទំនុកចិត្តការទទួលខុសត្រូវនិងគុណភាពខ្ពស់
something, you about to see something. It's coming, we're unstoppable now. Ain't nothing gonna take us down, we're unstoppable now. Fade to black, take a bow, yeah. We're unstoppable now.
British cyclist Mark Cavendish fell quite heavily in the penultimate fifth stage of the Tour of Oman, but came away from the crash with relatively minor injuries, the 36-year-old said on Monday.
The Briton, who was competing in his first race since suffering serious injuries in another crash in November, got back on his bike shortly after the fall and finished the stage to remain in contention for the Green Points jersey. Czech rider Jan Hurt won the stage for Ante Marche Wanty Gobert Martiu on Monday, taking an overall lead from Cavendish's Quick-Step Alpha Vinyl teammate Fausto Masnada. As is normal with the chaos of echelons forming, I had a touch of wheels and unfortunately I came down quite heavily, Cavendish said. I'm lucky that my injuries seemed to not be too bad and I was able to get on my bike, with just some bruising and external abrasions. Cavendish suffered broken ribs and a collapsed lung following a crash on the 6 Days of Ghent track meeting in November. In the same month, he was assaulted by 4 armed men during a burglary at his home. I hope that the other riders involved are also okay, and I would also like to thank the race doctor for looking after me. He enjoyed a remarkable return to form in 2021, sprinting to 4 stage wins at the Tour de France to equal the record of 34 set by Belgian great Eddy Merckx.
Host Cambodia made a blistering start to their campaign in Group A of the AFF Under-23 Championship when they thrashed Brunei's DS 6-0 this evening at the Morodok Dakjo National Stadium.
Under-23 Cambodia dominated both halves, scoring 3 goals in each. It was one-way traffic right from the beginning as Cambodia threw everything at Brunei in an effort to draw first blood. We did not have as good a preparation as we would like to have, but the players rose to occasion and performed well on the night. We did not prepare any specific game plan for the teams where the focus was on our own game for high possession, said the Cambodian coach Heroes Rule. Beyond by the close of 25,000 screaming fans, the young Compris were all over Brunei when they stuck an opening goal in the 18th. Brunei coach Admindin Jamet adopted a safety-first approach and instructed his team to sit deep and protect the goal. The resistance fell flat after the first few minutes. In the 10th minute, Say Tai drilled a low cross from a left wing from Chenteda, but the striker blasted his effort over the crossbar, much to the home crowd's disappointment. But the 19th-year-old made amends for his earlier mistake by finding the back of the net soon enough. A short corner played towards Susadan, who lobbed the ball in in the mix targeting Junta the Boycott Cat forward, despite being marked by the two defenders, jumped to the highest and nodded the ball past the keeper Abdul Muhammad to keep his side the lead. Cambodia doubled their lead within 2 minutes when the Sudan himself got on the score sheet. It was again a poorly defence set piece that brought the misery on Brunei. The Angkor Warriors continued to dominate proceedings, and just after the halfway mark, Sai Tai joined the party after scoring the third for his team. Tang Banchai floated in a long crossfield delivery to Tai, who showered clear pairs of heels to defender Amrul Zadi before scoring past hapless Muhammad. They added the fourth in the 72nd minute from another dead ball situation after winning a free kick from the 30-yard to goal. Min Ratanak lobbed the ball inside the box, which changed after taking a wicked deflection. Banchu was at the right place at the right time, and the defender made no mistake to score from close range. In the 86th minute, they scored the fifth when Saw Rotana found the net after latching onto a perfect delivery from Mario Quinto from the left flank. The suffering was not yet over for Brunei, as Narong Kakada stunningly dribbled past three defenders in a short space to ripple the net, completing the 6-0.
The B sample of Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva is yet to be analyzed at the Beijing Olympics despite an initial positive drug test, the International Olympic Committee said on Tuesday, but she has been cleared to compete in her singles event.
Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva said that days leading up to her being cleared to compete in the women's singles event at the Beijing Games on Tuesday, despite having tested positive for banned substance, had left her emotional fatigue. These past few days have been very difficult for me, the 15-year-old told Russian channel. One is the first comments about the situation. It's as if I don't have any emotions left. I'm happy, but I'm at the same time I'm emotionally tired. The teenager was cleared to compete in tonight's single event after the Court of Arbitration for Sport ruling that they agreed with the Russian anti-doping agency's decision to lift the ban on her. If Valieva finishes in the top three of the women's single event, the medal ceremony would not be held at the Olympics, promoting outrage from athletes and officials around the world.
Now let's have a look at the weather and what you can expect tomorrow. And finally, archaeologist Yumira Hijaman says they have found 14 pre-Inca mummies, of which 6 are children and 8 are adults. They have also confirmed that 2 of the adults are women, believed to be between 800 to 1,000 years old. Archaeologists believe the children and some of the adults could have been sacrifices.
Peruvian archaeologists have discovered 14 pre-Incan mummies, believed to be between 800 and 1,000 years old, at the archaeological complex of Cajamarquilla, located east of Lima. National University of San Marcos archaeologist Yomira Huaman, who is in charge of the Cajamarquilla archaeological site, has said her team has found that 6 of the mummies are children. The rest are adults, of which 2 have been confirmed to be women. Archaeologists believe the children and adults were sacrificed in honor of a prominent figure within the local elite, whose mummy was found in late 2021, so that they could serve as a companion in the afterlife. The mummies were found accompanied by other objects such as ceramic pots, decorated calabashes, knitting gear, and botanical remains.
Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, check our website eacnews.asia or search EAC News on Telegram or at your favorite app store. More from EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We will see you then.